Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Deadpool 3 has officially wrapped production, with stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman sharing some heartfelt social media posts. But did Hugh Jackman share more than he intended to? Careful about those screen grabs, bub! We're going to talk about the new details we've learned about Deadpool 3, plus, as I've been working my way through our X-Men Stick rewatch, what loose ends from the Fox X-Men film series will find their way back into the MCU with Deadpool 3. We're going to be playing Snicked or Bamf in this episode, because joining me today is the co-host of this show, Jessica Clemons.
Sound like you were gonna say something else.
I had thoughts. I was like,
Aww.
Am I gonna like mix up am I gonna do like a special like?
We could be a team. You could be my Cyclops and I could be Wolverine. But then I was like, I think I'm more Cyclops than Wolverine.
Yeah. Ooh. Now there's a good fan debate. Which X-Men would Jessica and I be? I think I would obviously.
You can't say Storm.
Why can't I say Storm? I don't understand.
No Storm and no Cyclops. No Storm and no Cyclops.
Okay, then I will be Mystique.
Shut the hell up. Start the show.
Start over.
Start the damn show.
So as of this week, Deadpool 3 has officially wrapped production, and this is a big deal because under the new marching orders from Disney CEO Bob Iger, they don't really intend to reshoot anything or much of these titles anymore. Because, I think everyone has agreed that when these movies just keep going round after round after round of reshoots, the movie just becomes a muddled mess is often the case, especially in a cameo fest that Deadpool 3 promises to be. But what Deadpool 3 seems to have been doing really well under director Shawn Levy is shooting everything practically on an actual set, even risking, paparazzi and other onlookers being able to see into the set. But I think they're able to keep the really cool, exciting stuff under wraps. Like, I'm very intrigued by what this movie is doing, specifically with this meta marketing campaign of having Taylor Swift joining Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy at football games throughout this year, because I feel like that's all been part of the plan leading up to Deadpool 3. But let's look at the goodbye messages from Ryan Reynolds. He says, "The suit hides the blood, also sweat, but today with Deadpool wrapping, it's mostly tears. A giant and forever thanks to the cast and crew of our film who battled wind, rain, strikes, and at Real Hugh Jackman, all under the stalwart leadership of Shawn Levy Direct. I got to make a movie with my closest pals, and that doesn't happen very often. See ya, July 26th. I like how he says battled strikes. You said the quiet part loud about your thoughts about the unions, Ryan.
I also like, without the strikes, he said battled. When he puts all those things, he says battled Hugh Jackman. So is it just him? Is it Hugh Jackman just going throughout the movie battling everybody?
I think he's fighting everyone. One of my favorite things from X-Men The Last Stand is the fact that they had to add this extra layer of context to Wolverine's woods battle with the Mutant Brotherhood, and Spike is just flinging bone spikes at him. But without adding that, Wolverine literally just goes through an REI campsite and massacres mutants who did nothing to him. And it's so funny to think about what that was going to be.
It might be just him going against everybody for a minute. He's not a team player most of the time.
No, he isn't. He's a loner. He doesn't care. And this is a completely different version of Wolverine that we've seen before, But he does have X-Men colors that he's wearing. So he is part of a team in that regard.
I just don't think he's a good team player. I mean, watch him just be it's going to be Deadpool constantly being like, hey, cheer up. You're being sad for no reason. Can you please just get back in the game?
Well, speaking of Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, for his part, tweeted, "What a ride. I've loved every minute of making this movie. Well, not the training and diet, but the other 93.2%. To the best cast and crew, thank you. You're all aces. To two of my best mates, Ryan Reynolds and Shawn Levy, I literally could not have done this without you. Literally, July 26th can't come soon enough. Time to shave it." And then shared his barber shots.
Aww.
This poor man is too old to be having to get into this crazy shape. His heart's going to explode.
He also, it's also so polar opposite. He just went from stage theater dancing as the Music Man. He loves musical theater so much and all his roles are the tiny, thin, lanky man. And then he goes into a superhero role immediately that's hey, can you eat 8,000 calories in a day and just get nothing but straight muscle? He's like, dude, I'm old. I can't be doing this anymore.
But he does it. He still does it for us.
He still does
it
for
you and me.
I think he loves being that bodybuilder physique. Deep down, but still that exercise that he went into to be Wolverine again. Kudos. Couldn't be me.
he physically commits to all parts of the role, whether it's like vocal lessons, like when he did The Greatest Showman, he like did all the like vocal warm-up sessions with the cast as they were pitching the movie to producers. This guy's a saint. And in this barber photo, he actually did a screen grab, and you can see his camera roll at the bottom of it. And if you look closely, you can see some of the other stuff. First off, he did a lot of takes of this camera roll stuff. But there is specifically a black and white shot, if you zoom and enhance, of him hugging Ryan Reynolds. So there's maybe things to be learned. They're both in costume. There was like, it's black and white. So what was happening there? Like, I'm assuming it was a rap day, hugging each other goodbye photo. But it also looks like the scores of the football game might have been next to it, right? Doesn't that look like?
It also is like, it has to be intentional. This man knows. He knows the game. He's been in stuff that have us analyzing it deep down for a very long time. It has to be.
Yeah.
That had to be done on purpose. Like, or not purpose, but like he shifted things around.
I don't know. I've learned in this game to never confuse conspiracy with incompetence.
That is true. It does look like a rap photo, though. They're just hugging.
Yeah. Some other images came out, and we don't know if we can really show these because they were, People magazine put them out, but we also don't want to show because they're like set photos. But basically, it's Deadpool walking side by side with Hugh Jackman in his costume. There's some bullet holes in his chest, and then in some of this imagery, I believe there's alternate angles of different people getting footage of this. But like Deadpool jumps on Wolverine's back in like a piggyback gag, and then Wolverine's like, get off me, and like shoves him off. But they're like walking side by side through a field. So make of that what you will. Bombshell, in my opinion.
I know it sounds biased because I'm a creator, but being creative is kind of the best. Like being able to have an idea in your head and then have it take form in the world is super satisfying. And it's easier to do it when you're using Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. It's got thousands of classes led by professionals from basically every creative industry, from film to fine arts and every creative niche, from claymation to composition. Whether you're looking for a new hobby or ready to turn your hobby into a side hustle, Skillshare can help. They've designed specialized learning paths just for you when you are on your creative quest. Every learning path has handpicked classes meant to be taken in order that build on another, reinforcing the lessons of the previous classes and letting you learn at your own pace. Want to start your own YouTube channel? Skillshare has learning paths just for that. It's got over 10 hours of classes. I checked out some because why not? And the classes on how to be on camera is super useful because I am not actually good at being on camera. It's crazy how much of this stuff that feels like there's nothing to it actually has a lot to it. No matter what you want to learn, drawing, editing, design, there's a learning path just for you. Even if you want to learn one particular tool to help you professionally like Procreate or Blender, Skillshare's got you covered. The first 500 people to use the link in the description to sign up will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. So start your year off right with Skillshare.
Jessica, as I've been going through the X-Men film series, there's all these loose ends. And we just finished watching our X-Men Origins Wolverine chapter of this. That breakdown might already be on the channel by the time you're watching this video. And there's so many weird things that happen in that movie, but that is the movie where Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman first worked together, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of callbacks to it. And I wanted to play this game with you that we're calling Snicked or Bamf. Is something coming out, or is something teleporting out of reality away through the Brimstone dimension? Okay. Are we getting I'm going to go through a list of possible weird things that could come back from the Fox X-Men films, either storylines that were never picked up or just characters that had unresolved questions. And are these, I'm going to pitch you like 10 or so different things, and I want you to tell me snicked, like, yes, we're getting it, or bamf, no, that's not going to be in the movie. Okay. Specifically, the first one, X-Men Origins Wolverine ends with a post-credit scene of, or maybe just the final image of the movie, with Ryan Reynolds' original version of Wade Wilson, Weapon 11, who has like an amalgam of the different mutant powers, with his severed head being recovered by the rest of his body, but his mouth, which was previously fused shut, is now torn open, and he goes, shh. So are we going to see that version of Weapon 11 with the torn open mouth, and will he sound like...
Actually, I'm going to say skip. Because I think that, because we already saw, didn't we get it at the post-credit in Deadpool 2?
We did. In Deadpool 2, he got shot in the head, though.
Yes, that's why I think we'll get what you just pitched, the alternative that is him without the mouth, maybe, or something else being happened. But it's like you can't not approach that. And you guys were in the past movie together. You guys got to do it together now.
Yeah, I mean, he did get shot in the head, but bullets don't kill these guys. They are regenerative, so they're going to be fine.
And they could just also throw him into that universe if everyone's just all over the place. If we have that like that Mad Max kind of footage that people that got leaked of them in the sand,
all the different cars,
they could just there's different universes. Watch them just throw him into one, and it's just like, oh shit, we got to defeat this disgusting version of myself.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we're gonna see at least a few different versions of Deadpool in this movie, and this is a Deadpool we're gonna see.
Yeah, this is a Deadpool, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, next one. An acknowledgement of Wolverine's history in World War II and his historical connection to Steve Rogers. So Wolverine is Weapon X, according to X-Men Origins, but according to the comics canon, Weapon 1, Roman numeral 1, would be Captain America Steve Rogers, the first super soldier. Are we going to see like an acknowledgement of those two guys serve together in World War II? Snicked or Bamf?
I'm gonna say Bamf, but I would love that. They have address it eventually. Maybe when it's fully into the MCU, please talk about it.
I agree. I think I don't know if this movie has like the bandwidth for like Captain America. Maybe a joke or a reference to him, but I think that'd be too confusing for people. Next one, Halle Berry's Storm. Okay, so several of these Fox X-Men movies have had like deleted scenes or alternate script drafts in which we would have seen Aurora Monroe's African origin. And specifically, X-Men Origins Wolverine has Stryker going after a meteorite, which is not explicitly specified as vibranium, but it pretty much is vibranium because it's this ore that is used to smelt and fuse together with steel to become adamantium. So really, my snicked or bent for you, Jessica, is are we going to get Halle Berry, and is she going to bring back her Kenyan accent?
Ooh. God dang it. I want to say Bamf on the Kenyan accent, but I want to say skirt on skeet on Halle Berry coming in.
But you can do whatever version of it you want.
I go shing shing, even though that's not it either.
Great.
But like
totally fine.
Yeah. Any noise. But it would be I could see Ryan Reynolds being like, so do you want to come to this character with this point of view? But I don't think they will. I think it'll just be Halle Berry returning for a little cameo appearance. Maybe a version of Storm that is just a normal person. I
guess what I should have asked, do you think we will get like a Storm who knows that Wakanda exists, and will we get a joke that like, sorry, your boyfriend's dead? Referencing T'Challa.
No! Erik!
No?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
could this movie go this far? Some of the jokes were pretty irreverent in the first two Deadpool movies.
I don't think he's gonna touch T'Challa being dead at all.
Okay, so no T'Challa references in the movie.
But I would love what they could do is do their own, not their own version, but it would be like Wakanda, and we see Halle Berry Storm there. And that's where they go into a universe where Halle Berry is Storm in Wakanda, and that would be great. I think that would be great, even if it's like 30 seconds, not even a second. I would love that.
Yes, I think we have to give a general bamf to anything Storm-related that puts Halle Berry as a potential butt of the joke. Because I don't think she would come back to this movie for that. She had to endure so much for those movies, and then she won an Oscar between X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. And after that, they're like, okay, you don't have to do the accent anymore. Please just keep being part of our movies, Halle Berry.
But Ryan Reynolds is also friends with literally everyone, and the people that he's not friends with, Hugh Jackman is. So I could see them like begging her to come back, and she'd come back for like a little thing, even if it wasn't funny. I could see her coming back. If they got Elektra, it's like, you might as well.
I think if we see Halle Berry, it'll just be really cool. She'll just be like screaming at the sky, commanding a thunderstorm. It's going to be sick. I love Aurora Monroe. I think Aurora Monroe might be my favorite X-Men because she's just so over the top and cool. I love Storm. Yes. Okay, next one. James Marsden Cyclops. So James Marsden really got done dirty, I feel like, because he is like the rightful leader of the X-Men in the first X-Men movie, but then after that, they kind of make him like a side character, and then they kill him off early in X-Men The Last Stand because he went to go shoot Superman Returns. But like, they still could have written a better storyline for him. But there's something crazy that happens in X-Men Origins Wolverine where Weapon 11 gets decapitated, and because he has Cyclops' optic blast powers, his severed head continues to fire an optic blast beam through a nuclear silo and just severs it. Like, imagine just a severed head that continues to fire a laser and then just severs the missile, or not the missile silo, the cooling tower is what I meant to say. So will we get James Marsden Cyclops getting decapitated and having a similar moment where his decapitated head still continues to fire an optic blast?
The hard part about all of these prompts that you're giving me is I'm like, yes, bam, or not bam, skink, skink. I'm like, yes, but it will be the quickest scene. It will not be heavy. It won't be like, hey, you guys, let's stay on this scene for 10 minutes. It'll be quick. And it will be very funny. And that's what I could see Ryan Reynolds loving. And I could see James Marsden coming back for that. After being nominated for an Emmy, he's having fun. He's just having fun. James Marsden's always about having fun. So I could see him coming back for that role. Because I think people also agree about him in the movies, too. They're like, they didn't really do him that right. So I think he would come back for the fans and be like, they didn't do me right again, but it's a joke now.
Yes, fair enough. Okay, next one, Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier. Last Stand ended with him dying when Jean Grey obliterated him, but his consciousness transferred to Moira McTaggart's coma patient, and he woke up. But that guy had a beard. He was just like a completely different person that wasn't like McAvoy or Stewart. So do we get that version of Charles Xavier in Deadpool 3? Snicked or Bamf?
What do you think?
I think we get a reference to it. Snicked to the reference, Bamf to the cameo.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the cameo, but I could see it being talked about.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be like, wait, didn't your mind go to the body of some other random coma patient?
They could address Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier a lot of times. You don't think they're gonna address him in the last Wolverine movie instead?
Oh, that's definitely gonna come up.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, there's so many different ways to bring him up. And it's like, I wonder how many times they're going to bring it up, or if they're just going to bring up one incident or one occurrence of Charles Xavier, and which occurrence will it be? Because there's a million versions that you can grab from. But yeah, I like your idea. I think they just might take from the Wolverine angle and be like, didn't you kind of go crazy and die?
Yeah. I think we'll get kind of a Miguel O'Hara moment where he's like, in lots of different timelines, lots of different things have happened to me. In one timeline, I got stabbed by X-24. In another timeline, Jean Grey killed me,
Damn. They can just approach it like that? They can just come out and say it like that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I guess that's true. If Deadpool is jumping all these dimensions, he's like, I saw you die a million different ways.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Ian McKellen Magneto. If he is in this movie, since it's R-rated, do we finally get to see him do something brutal to Logan, like a deleted scene from The Last Stand when he bends the metal on his bones just in ways to cause him excruciating pain?
God, these are hard. These are all so hard. Oh my gosh. I'm going to say Bamf. Because I think this is still a Deadpool movie, and if Ian McKellen makes a cameo, it's going to be a comedic one.
Yeah. Okay. We'll say Bamf to that one. Yeah.
But I would love that. I would love that. I think we're going to rely on the violence coming from Deadpool more so, or Wolverine, than it is going to be from any of the other extra X-Men, unless it's very quick scenes.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to bring in Magneto to do something like that, you're going to go crazy in an R-rated movie, and you're going to rip out the entire adamantium skeleton and then have it fight Logan with just his normal bone flesh body. So it'll be just a metal skeleton with metal claws fighting Logan with his bone claws, but he regenerates. So that's what you have, a weird Henry Harryhausen kind of stop motion,
oh my skeleton. God, I hate that, but I would love to see that done in the movie.
That's what I want to see. Marvel, if there's still time, you could do this. You could just take this idea. You don't have to credit me.
God,
just do it.
damn.
I want to see it.
It has to be a rated R thing, though. They can't just do that randomly. That thing will be fuck.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a rated R movie, give us some rated R blood.
That would be a cool, quick scene of appearing, and Deadpool's like, "Oh, it's just an old man," and then he does that to Wolverine.
I mean, when in X2, Magneto just sucks the molten metal out of that prison guard. He can suck metal out of people's bodies and do horrible things with it. Kelsey Grammer, Beast. He is certain to be in this movie because they already created the character design for the Marvels. And I feel like that cameo was setting up a cameo for Deadpool 3. Will he say his iconic catchphrase of, Oh, my stars and garters.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, easy
Sneak,
Easy
sneak, sneak. Sneak,
Okay,
sneak.
potential spoiler for Deadpool 3 here, based off of some set photos, but like Sabretooth, potentially the Tyler Mane era of the character, is he established to be Logan's brother, the way the Liev Schreiber version of Sabretooth was in X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Bamf.
Bamf.
I don't think they're
so
gonna
no,
address it.
you don't think so? Okay.
No.
All right. Quick one. One of the coolest moves from X-Men Origins Wolverine is when Wade Wilson, when he's still Ryan Reynolds, does the bullet slice, and then the two halves of the bullets go to kill the two guys behind him. Do we get a callback to that? And do we get an assist with Magneto, where he kind of redirects those bullets after that?
I think sneaked on the scene for sure. That would be sick as hell, and also a good callback. Magneto? Damn, this is hard. Erik, you made this hard.
I did. We're almost done. I'm
going to say Bamf on the Magneto part, but I would not, like, the Bamf, I have doubts in. I do have doubts in my Bamf. I could see that appearing, even if, like, Magneto's helping them or something. I could see that happening in that scene.
Actually, we'll just end with this one because it's potentially like the juiciest, most tea-spilly one. A lot of actors from this era of the franchise really just did one and done, or they just like they had issues. So like Alan Cumming played Nightcrawler and was incredible. Elliot Page played Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat. Shawn Ashmore played Bobby Drake. Anna Paquin played Rogue. Do we get any of these characters back in this movie? And if so, will we have this movie taking shots at Bryan Singer and or Brett Ratner?
I don't think Anna Paquin will come back. Alan Cummings, I follow on Instagram and a bunch of other platforms, and he's doing a lot of stage stuff, and I haven't seen anything, and it's like in New York, so I haven't seen a lot of evidence that he would have been anywhere near the sets where they were shooting Deadpool, but Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler is one of everyone's favorite characters, and come on. Please. Please, I hope this is one of the cameos that weren't leaked that we didn't see, because his character does need CGI, so maybe it isn't the practical ones that we've been seeing. So I could see that cameo. It's just that I follow him everywhere and haven't seen any evidence that he has been called back to anything Deadpool related. But I wish.
Okay, so we'll say Bamf to that, because you're right. Like, and by shots, I mean not like making fun of their eras of the franchise and how they were kind of goofy or campy. I mean taking shots of the directors and their like legal issues.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that would be a step too far for this movie.
And I don't think they'd make fun of Brett Ratner too, because it would just bring up, not in a bad way, we should always remember how horrible Brett Ratner was, but I think there's a lot of celebrities today that were affected by Brett Ratner that it would just like bring that back up to light, and they don't really want to talk about it, and their time on there was so bad that it's just like the punchline of the joke would be like, you're a horrible person. These people had a hard time, and it's like, that's not a joke. They had a hard time. This was a horrible director.
That's a good point. Very, very good point. Okay, so I think we have, there's far more things we can snick or Bamf. Maybe we'll play this game again once we're on the other side of the trailer.
These were hard-ass questions. They were hard.
I'm telling you.
All plausible. All of them were plausible.
We have more X-Men movies to get through and more loose ends. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some storylines where, like, Mystique just became like William Stryker for several years, and we don't really know what happened there. Or, like, Mystique was Senator Kelly between movies, and, like, it was just implied that she continued to go to like all of Senator Kelly's like fundraisers and campaign meetings and like hearings, and
she was good at her job. She was serious about it. She did everything for Magneto. Yeah.
And then she became Senator Kelly, and then like between X2 and X3, like she starts becoming like the Department of Homeland Security head. They're like, his name was Trask. It was a reference to Bolivar Trask at X3, and they're like, yeah, we caught her because she was posing as Trask. It's like, how many people in the government was she pretending to be?
She was just jumping to every desk, every table. Oh, I need to use the bathroom real quick. Goes out, comes back in.
Wait, the Secretary Trask, I thought you were on vacation this month. It's like, I got it short.
Yeah, well, Mystique's very smart. I couldn't be Mystique. I was like, there's too many times where I've been caught in the lie. I would have been like, oh shit, yeah, I'm on vacation. My bad. My bad.
I mean, I think my favorite recurring thing in these early movies is just how all the different actors have to, like, at some point play Mystique pretending to be them.
Mhm.
So, like, they, like, at some point, like, Hugh Jackman is like, gets a little smile. Famke Janssen's like, I'm a slightly flirty version of myself. And then they get Anthony Heald, who played Dr. Chilton from Silence of the Lambs, as an FBI agent. And he even plays like, ooh, you thought I would notice.
You thought I would notice.
I don't know. He doesn't do
Go
that.
back
He's
and watch
like,
it. I need a
I
compilation.
do this all day.
No,
Like,
that is it's a good observation. I love that because it's like, yeah, let's remember that these actors are just doing this. These actors
are. They had to
acting
read the script. They're like,
acting like
oh.
them.
Yeah, now I have to sit on the other side of the table and play like a sexy, flirty version of myself. It's so funny. It's like the best. It's so great. I mean, the MCU could have done this so much more. Like when they brought back Chris Evans for Thor: The Dark World, where Loki briefly turns into Captain America, and then so it's just like Chris Evans playing an excited version of himself, and then Chris Evans calls that back in Endgame, where he's like coordinating search and rescue. But like they could have been doing this constantly. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, coming this week on the new Rockstars network, we got X-Men Origins Wolverine Breakdown, which might be on the channel already by the time you're watching this. But beyond that, we're going to move on to X-Men First Class, which is Jessica's favorite X-Men movie because they kill off Darwin.
No, I didn't.
You told me
Why would
that.
you say that? Why would you say that?
Me that.
Why would
you
you
texted
say
me
You
that
know
this
damn
morning.
well I didn't say that. But I do love First Class. I was so excited by your first sentence because I was like, yeah, I do love First Class. And then when you said Darwin, I was like, you know damn well.
You texted me a picture of you like doing that pose on the grave on Darwin's grave. Like,
When he's he just swallowed it, he's barely turning, and I'm like, now I'm scared someone's gonna Photoshop me on Darwin's dead body, his charred corpse. No.
I'm not going to ask our viewers to do that, but if they do it, I'll be happy.
That poor actor. I could see them bringing that back. Maybe Deadpool or maybe Ryan Reynolds knows the bit of how many people are like, this was crazy and unjustified.
It totally was. Also this week, we're not sure every video we're going to be doing, but we are still working on this breakdown of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's just there's so much to go into, so we're working on that. And then I'm still working on the video I am doing about what went wrong in the DCEU and what went right, what we should remember going right, but really just some missed opportunities. And that brings me to just talking about our Aquaman The Lost Kingdom breakdown that we released on the channel this week. And I just want to make a little statement to all of our viewers. I think a lot of you are really disturbed on how much I went into the details about Arthur being a new dad to a newborn son. And I just related so hard and was so confused by a lot of things in the first act of that movie because, I'll bring it up. Yes, I am a dad now. But I think a lot of people were like, Erik, you spent half the breakdown talking about how much Mira is pumping and how to change a diaper. And I'm getting a lot of shit for it right now. And I'm just like, and while some of it is like, I think people are just like, don't want to hear about parent stuff for bullshit reasons. I think I am sorry to everyone for talking about it that much. I don't want everyone to think like my brand now is to be like the dad breakdowner. That's not going to be my brand. It was just this movie I didn't particularly like, and they made a lot of weird choices in the first act. And I was like, this is the lens in which I will choose to talk about this movie. But I'm not going to do that for every breakdown. So you guys can relax.
Yeah, the story's also about the baby. The entire story is about like, I'm a dad and my dad is here to tell me dad advice and be a dad and also a brother.
I did something similar when we first reacted to Thor Love and Thunder, which also wasn't that good of a movie, but it just ends in this daddy-daughter place. And we weren't having kids yet, but I really wanted kids after watching that movie, and it made me react differently to the end of that movie. And I think that instance and the instance are really the only times that are going to happen. There will be times where I do a deep dive on the Deep Dive channel where I talk about my role as a father or as a son or a husband or that kind of thing. But you'll know, and I'm not going to have you click on a video expecting a bunch of Aquaman Easter eggs. And instead I rant for 4.5 minutes about what's a natural amount of breast milk to pump in a 24-hour period.
I need to go watch this breakdown. How much do you talk about breast milk? Maybe people were just turned off by the
I'm
breast
proud
milk.
of the video. I understand a lot of people just weren't expecting it, and I think people are like, Erik's changed. But like, guys, don't like. And also, what I'm realizing is that even people who have kids, you're so sleep deprived in this part of your life, you don't remember it. Apparently, I'm talking to parents of kids who are a bit older. They're like, oh right, yeah, like they even forget. So I think for a lot of people, like 98% of people, they're like, I don't want to hear all these details. Like, I've moved on from this. Or, like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to hear this.
Well, it sucks because it's like you're also just sharing your experience, which I mean, I don't get a lot of comments that are like when I talk about anything that's pertaining to my life and breakdowns. I'm like, yeah, this is important for these reasons. I don't really get as much shit. Maybe it's more support.
Well, you get
from
shit in different.
Yeah,
ways.
the shit is the different shit, which I'm like,
you get it worse, way worse than I do.
I'll kill you.
And this is what's fucking hard about being an on-screen YouTuber is that, like, you know, part of the reason why people like us is because we do bring some of ourselves to this, but also there's a lot of people who watch our videos who do not want to hear us talk about our lives. They don't want to hear us make jokes. They just want the Easter eggs. They just want the analysis. They just want the research, and anything that is editorial or soapboxy or commentary or talking about your life, they're like, fuck you, I hope you die. Because that's not why I clicked on this video. And it's just like, okay, that's just what YouTube is. And that's what we signed up for. And we both benefit from it, but we also pay the price for it. It sucks.
It's the Andre 3000 quote, the y'all don't want to hear me talk, you just came here to dance.
Yep.
He says that. And I was like, damn, he's serious. And now when I'm living it, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, damn. Yep. Don't you ever bring up your black experience, Jessica. I'm like, got it. Word. Yeah,
well,
we signed up.
I hope you bring it up all the time.
I know, and I love you talking about being a dad because I want to be a dad.
You want to be a dad? Not a mom.
I want to be a mom.
Being a dad is easier than being a mom. I'll tell you that. If you have a preference, be a dad. Yeah. It's not better. It's just easier. Like, being a mom is hard. There's way more of a burden on you. But okay, let's move on to our segment of what we're watching. This is the segment where Jessica and I talk about everything else that we are watching in our diet of consumption of media. That's not necessarily stuff you see us covering on the New Rockstars channel, but it is kind of just what we're watching. And I started last week, so Jessica, why don't you start this week? What are you watching? What else are you watching?
I'm not watching anything this week.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, I'm not watching anything this week. But because I'm not watching something, it's because I'm playing video games. And I am playing currently, which has not come out. So you guys, keep it on the DL. Playing the Suicide Squad video game. And cool. You know how video games work. It's like 60 hours put into, and we're people that talk about it. So I have to play them sooner and hope to finish by the time it comes out. But I'm preparing for that. And I've been playing, I'm getting ready for Tekken, and yeah. So if I'm not writing the breakdowns that you guys see me in, I'm playing Suicide Squad and getting prepared.
I mean, you were watching the Oscar nominations. I know that. How do you feel about the Barbie snubs, the Greta Lee snubs?
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care because I'm getting a lot of two-sided arguments on this. I don't care what anyone says. Greta needed that director nom. And that is insane that they didn't get that director nom. And this is the third time that Greta's going to be like in the Oscars, but not get that award. And it's making me mad because in the Barbie movie, she was so close to all steps of production. She directed that entire film, coordinated those colors, those costumes, every part of it. That movie is like a cultural staple now in cinema. It has beat numbers and she didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
God,
hey, you're not wrong.
I went off. The Academy Award I will always have beef with because the POCs have the hardest time getting an award unless they're playing the most sad, disparaging like characters, and they should be able to play anything. Yeah. And then for women, it's just like equal. And I am irritated. There's a lot of POC actors that I was like, oh, I thought a lot of these people would be nominated this year, and they weren't. Weird system this year. Weird system this year.
It's always a weird system. I think that's what I try to remember. I think it's totally fine to love a movie and to think that it should have gotten more attention. So I don't fault anyone for griping about snubs. I also think snubs are just a little silly, but I think, it's weird to see people who work on the production be like, I don't understand how like Ryan Gosling and America Ferrera can be nominated, but not Margot Robbie and not Greta Gerwig, and how the movie can be nominated for Best Picture. And it's like, the way the voting works is different groups of people are voting in each category. So like the Best Director nomination is the hardest one to get nominated for because it's like the snobbiest voting pool of people who are voting for it. They're like, have they really proven themselves to one of our visionary minds who have been behind the camera? Is it Christopher Nolan's year finally?
And that's the thing. I wouldn't, because it's an award. It's not even our peers most of the time, you guys. It's these higher beings that are voting for it. And when it's like categories like this, or not categories, but the voters are like this, I try not to let that affect me. But the Oscars are held so high in cinema that it's hard to not. Because when you hear that like Oscar nominated X name, it is already highly regarded person. Yeah. And I'm like, this isn't fair, because like using Angela Bassett last year as the example, I'm like, Angela Bassett's amazing and did an amazing job. And then we're just like, she doesn't get to be called Oscar award winner Angela Bassett for this movie.
See, that's where I think we are right to gripe after the 5 people have been nominated, and then like they give it to Jamie Lee Curtis and not Angela Bassett. That was weird to me. That was really weird. As much as I love Jamie Lee Curtis, like Everything Everywhere All at Once is a very good movie and she's very good in it, but like Angela Bassett did the thing. She had to endure that. We should give her an award just for that.
Angela Bassett did the thing.
I try not to get too hung up on it. Last year I had faith because Everything Everywhere All at Once was a great movie, and the people that did win did deserve to win, other than Jamie Lee Curtis. But then this year I'm like, I should have known Poor Things was going to come through. Regardless, what are you watching? I'm sorry. I can talk about the Academy Awards all day.
I was watching those things. I watched, so over the weekend, we watched Saltburn and May December. And
I watched Saltburn this weekend. Just holding Logan with Kelly.
He was in the bassinet. He could not see the screen, and oh my God. So here's my opinion of Saltburn.
I'm ready.
I very much liked it for the first like 3/4 of it, but by the end, Kelly and I were saying, why does this feel so familiar? And we realized it. If you live in LA and do like performing arts in LA and become friends with other people who do shows and one-person shows and sketch shows and that kind of thing, this is a universal experience of everyone who has gone to like a Fringe Festival show. It's like going to a friend of a friend's or just a friend's Fringe Festival show. You watch it. It's TMI as they do their one-person show. It ends with them stripping down naked and covering themselves in what they say is some bodily fluid. And they hand out ponchos to the audience and they splash you with it. And everyone in the audience is yelling, tarp, 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 because they know the stage is going to get splattered with something. You look at your friend who you came with and like, am I not getting something? And by the end, they're just like humping the stage to some campy, kitschy song, and everyone's like on their feet dancing. And then after the show, you have to be like, that was so good. You're such an artist. And you're like, I don't get it. And then 2 months later, you find out that person gets staffed on some new show that like you've been trying to get staffed on. And you just have to be like, I don't get it. Why is this person successful? Why is everyone pretending they're brave? I don't think they're brave. I just think they're gross. And that's what watching Saltburn felt like.
That's so funny, because as soon as you were like, the Fringe, I was like, yeah, I've been to a clowning show in LA, and that's exactly what a clowning show in LA is. They're like putting meat blood on themselves and then running around naked. Saltburn, I believe the hype. I watched it and then I went, you guys blew this thing out of proportion. I thought it was going to be the craziest thing I saw in my life. And instead it was just a bunch of very good actors that I've seen in other roles play mean characters.
Right. I think Emerald Fennell is like an accomplished creator of pop media. But 100%. I am not convinced yet that she has anything to say. That she reminds me of the, the documentary Exit Through the Gift Shop, where people think that the whole documentary was a Banksy production, where they have that what's it called? The street artist at the end of it who puts on a whole display, and then everyone's walking around pretending like it's good. But then you realize like, oh, you don't actually have anything to say. You just found a trend of like people will go watch movies if they do crazy shit like this. And if they present
100%.
themselves as like postmodern feminism. And it's like by the end of Promising Young Woman, I don't know what that movie was trying to say about feminism. And it just goes to some weird, like, violent delights. And by the end, it's just like, oh, you're just trying to be cute about it. And then you win Best Screenplay at the Oscars that year, which blows my mind how that movie beat Judas and the Black Messiah for the Best Screenplay that year. Makes no goddamn sense.
I don't think enough people actually did watch Judas and the Black Messiah, to be fair. I think everybody watched A Young Promising Woman, but they did not go see Judas and the Black Messiah. I think it went didn't it go like actually I think it did come out in theaters or it went directly to Max or HBO at the time. Yeah, that's how I feel about Saltburn too. It was there's this trend and aesthetic in films now that will take, I'm sorry to say this, Gen Z by the throat. You guys and some millennials, because I am that person. I fell for the Green Knight, the A24 film, and then I went, no. But it's like that aesthetic and that picturesque moments are what is trending and what looks great. And then also you just put Jacob Elordi in it and Barry Keoghan. Yeah, everyone's gonna go turn out for that. And then I went, what am I getting from this? What am I getting? Yeah, Eat the Rich. I get it. But like, I didn't even get that until the very end.
Is that the premise of Saltburn? Is Eat the Rich?
That's what I thought.
I guess it kind of is.
And then I was like, oh, but I didn't like get that throughout the movie. I got them making fun of a poor kid. Like,
also the kid who eats them isn't poor. He's like,
oh yeah, he isn't
I guess
poor.
We're spoiling. He's like upper middle class.
We are spoiling it. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Sorry, we're not.
Well, Jacob Elordi spoiled the movie on SNL in his opening monologue, so it's like, okay, I guess we're okay.
The movie's been out long enough. It's been on Amazon Prime long enough that you guys can. Also, those illegal clips are on TikTok.
Yeah, I guess you could say there's like a statement of like, well, is Emerald Fennell really the one to say eat the rich when she probably had an upbringing similar to Barry Keoghan's character in Saltburn? So that's her thing, is like, well, who am I to be eating the rich? But it's like, I don't get it. I don't think this is a self-autobiographical commentary. I think she just saw Barry Keoghan and looks like a working class kid from Yorkshire. And it's like, oh, I'll put him in this movie and he'll be my vessel for this weird revolutionary story.
There might also be a world in which she also is like, there was no message. I just wanted to make a piece that was just this. And I'm like, great. The art part of it, I love. I'm obsessed with like the looks, the design. Each character has such a crazy, like, I think each character is a character, like is a weirdo character in itself. Great. I think you did a great job at that. Love the costumes. Yeah.
I think that's also that line of thinking of the style and the spectacle alone is all you really need for a movie, is how we get arguments and debates like, well, Batman v Superman is a better movie than Matt Reeves' The Batman. It's how we get arguments like the prequel trilogy is better than the original trilogy. I think there is a generation of folks who just think like, oh, the lightsaber fights looked really cool. And if I don't have a well choreographed lightsaber battle, it's not Star Wars for me.
100%. Like, and it's also, I mean, what is that quote? Art is in the eye of the beholder or whatever. It's everybody has different views on cinema. It's a universal language. It's media. Everybody has a different viewpoint of it. And I will allow that because there's a lot of movies I like. That's why I work here, that other people do not like. And I'm obsessed with like different directions that they take in choreography and art. And so I'm like, I get it. But I'm also like, I just don't want a million people telling me that these are the movies to watch, or not these are the movies to watch, but these are better than everything else, not taking into account that they have a different eye. They have different flags. They have a different radar.
Well, hey, nature is healing, Jessica, because it didn't get nominated for shit.
It didn't. No one was fighting for it though, to be fair. Online, I didn't see anybody say, "Where's Saltburn?" Not a single person. It was all like past lives. Personally, me, Iron Claw.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. This was a great episode, Jess. I feel like we covered a lot of ground. We got real. Mm-hmm. This is exactly the conversation I want to have every week. This is a
sneak peek. You get a peek into
our sneak peek.
lives.
This is a sneak peek. Get a sneak peek at our souls. Hey, follow Jessica at Lulu_Clemons. You can follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. And hey, give New Rockstars a like on this video. Give us a subscribe. Smash that button. Please smash it. And smash it so that no one else can subscribe after you. Break that elevator button. We love you all. Have a great, great Sunday and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye, everybody.